Plus Sports special on Plus TV Africa on a Saturday morning. And we've got too many things to talk about this morning. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep anymore. Two very disturbing stories came my way and it just stole sleep away from me. But like that. First of all, one was not sports related. The death of Rachel Oniga. And then Blessing Okagbare. A growth hormone drug she used, and of course, it's not allowed at the Olympics, so she's been suspended. Good morning, Seun Ajidagba.
Good morning, Wale Scott. It's a pleasure to be here. And the last day in the 7th month will never be our last day on earth.
Amen. Good morning, Victor Godfrey.
Good morning. That's quite the quote, but it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Let's start with, let's come home first. Akwa United Football Club of Uyo is now 1 point away from being crowned champions of the 2020-2021 Nigeria Professional Football League season. The Promise Keepers consolidated their push towards the league title playing 1-1 with FC Ifeanyi on match day 36 in Newi, a vital point that will keep them ready for their next league assignment against MFM Football Club of Lagos. If they get a point or win their match in Uyo, they will win the NPFL title. They have also sealed continental football for next season. It was a festival of goals in Okigwe as Abia Warriors thrashed relegated Adamawa United 5-1 to keep hopes alive in retaining top-flight football. Seun, I don't want to go out because I don't want to stay too long on any topic this morning. I don't want to become a mathematician and start explaining -1. My point is, if I know this student is average, but in my school, the student is the best in class, and I know the other students in other schools are above average, and this is what my students are, I would rather that my student does not go at all than go there and just ruin the name we are trying to build of my school. What I mean is, Akwa United doing very well in the Nigerian league, local champions. This Akwa United cannot go on the continent and beat the smallest team on the continent. My opinion.
You just stated the obvious. 36 matches, 68 points. People know me not to be a proponent of mathematics, but I know the money mathematics. So if plus or minus, they amass 6 more points in addition to the 68 they have, that is 74 from my mathematics. Right? Poor. For a team that wants to go on the... Because for me, I look futuristic. I'm more of a realist than trying to pepper the cracks. They have qualified for the continent. You also read it. And it means they are representing us in the CAF Champions League. I even put it to you, Wale, that even if they lose their next 2 matches, the game against MFM and their last game, they have still qualified to be champions of the NPFL based on the goal difference that they have ahead of the teams that are following them, which is Nasarawa United and Enyimba.
Now, I don't want to dwell too long on this one. Victor, you asked a question that Seun ran away from.
No, I didn't run away from.
You know, he said he was not in the studio. He said you were not in the studio.
Okay, put it to me.
Okay, so now, just to add to your point, you know, there's something that broke my heart a few weeks back, because I grew up, like we mentioned, we had a very great connection. The first time I met you, when we talk about Nigerian football, as a fan in '97, I was a young boy. 2003-04, golden years for Nigerian football on the continent. I was heartbroken last 2 or 3 weeks ago when the Champions League final was playing between Kaizer Chiefs and Al Ahly. And Al Ahly won a rather record-winning title. I was like, when will we have another Nigerian team in the finals of this competition, whereby I want to watch because I'm a Nigerian. Also mentioned Akwa United. Well done. If they win the league with all the whole drama, which I'm going to get to in a minute, fantastic for them. But like you said, is it against Kaizer Chiefs or Al Ahly or Sundowns, all these teams that play beautiful football, TP Mozambique, that play great football on the continent, that what we have is going to stand like, it's just laughable, actually. Another issue I had with the league this year is minus not even being front and center for fans across the nation to watch. If you're not really a super sports fan of Nigerian football, you will never know a Nigerian league is going on. That's for starters. Secondly, the officiating has been nothing short of
shambolic.
I'm looking for a word that is worse than a joke. Like it's not even when kids are playing on the streets, they have better officiating. Like a bunch of 7-year-olds playing football 5-a-side They have with what they call monkey post or whatever you want to call it, with stones. They have better officiating than what I saw.
They call it mocking post.
Mocking post, yeah.
Mocking because they are mocking
the actual
real
post.
post.
Yes.
Now, what you have just said, see, in life you crawl, you sidestep, and then you walk. No child leaves primary school and say the next place I'm going to is university. So, Analaji Shehu Diko, at the completion of the season, will sit back now and say, you have had a successful season. Excuse me, sir. On your behalf, I'm ashamed. Amaju Melvin Pinnick, President Nigeria Football Federation, he knows how to talk the talk. But we always say, talk and do. Talk and then, because these guys are helping you to handle the league. The Football Federation is not only about Super Eagles. But it's about running the league. So that aspect of the officiation that you are talking about, it's not just a few weeks from now. It has happened from time immemorial.
Okay, guys.
But before you go, just the thing.
Quickly.
You know, the thing about the chairman of the federation is that I think it's pretty obvious. It's painfully obvious, and I don't know why we don't say this enough. He's in that position just for his personal gain. I think, if possible, he will want to run for CAF presidentship or even become the president of FIFA one day. Because I think he's just there for his own. He's not. We thought that what he has done for the national team and for the football. I'm not saying he hasn't done his job to his best ability, but because, I think he's there for selfish.
One quick word is that let's not dwell on this thing because we know what we are doing is jeon. We are not playing a league, and so it's experience of us at every point in time to take out the P. There's nothing professional in what we are running. Okay. So let's just know that what we are doing is jeon.
Okay, guys. We are not political analysts on this show. We are not entertainment analysts. We are actually sports analysts. So sports is our forte. And we can say honestly today on this show, I'm saying on behalf of all of us on the show, that sports in Nigeria has become a total joke. It's shambolic. It has become shameful to us Nigerians. When we waste so much money to the Olympics, and we might be coming back home with nothing. When we play football like this and we say Akwa United will represent on the continent, and that is another joke too. And there are many more things we can't even finish talking about on the show today. Part of the Olympics shame is that Nigerian sprinter and 2008 Olympics long jump silver medalist Blessing Okagbare on Saturday was provisionally suspended after testing positive for human growth hormone before the Tokyo Olympics. The Athletics Integrity Unit said in a statement that 32-year-old who has also won World Championship medals in the 200 meters and the long jump and is competing in her fourth Olympics had comfortably won 100 meters heats on Friday with a time of 11.05 seconds, qualifying for Saturday's semi-finals. She was also due to compete in the 200 meters as well as the 4x100 meters relay. The unit said she tested positive in an out-of-competition test on July 19th and was informed of a suspension on Saturday. Human growth hormone is on the list of banned substances. Okagbare's silver medal from the Beijing Games was a result of her being upgraded in 2007 after the International Olympic Committee disqualified Russian athlete Tatiana Labaleva due to a doping offense. Okagbare had originally finished third in that long jump competition. Laughable.
Sir, Athletics Integrity Units are the ones who came out to say human growth hormone is part of the banned substance, and this happened on July 16th? 19th, if my memory serves me right. And so it just came to the fore today. We are expecting that two Nigerians are going to be in the semi-final, even when we knew it was going to be difficult. Grace Nwokocha, who surprisingly, home-based athlete, but set a time of 11.00 seconds, even better than that of Blessing Okagbare, going into the semi-final, and that's the fifth fastest by a Nigerian. But we knew they were going to come up against Osemaria Talu, people like Dean Asher Smith, Shelia Fraser-Price, you know, all these people that we already know. But we're so hopeful that, so what happened last time will not befall itself again, and this happened. Very, very sad. What can we do? She missed out of 200 meters. She missed out on 4x100 meter relay. Remember what happened to us in the mixed relay, where it was an embarrassment. We put a lady in the last leg, and then, you know, they beat her to it. So, plus all the things that have happened before, it just brings everything to a total embarrassment, and it is what it is.
So sad. so sad. And one will hope that the MBBF brouhaha took so long before it went, and it affected Nigerian basketball. Now the Athletics Federation, how can a man like Goso bring major sportswear like Puma? And because Goso and the ministry are not in good terms, you guys say no. And you go and bring a relatively unknown AFA because of... Now, the Olympic athletics program opened with a huge surprise and a shock disqualification on Friday, as Ethiopian youngster Selemon Barega claimed a stunning 10,000 meters gold, and the US blew their chances in the 4x400 meters mixed relay. There was only one gold up for grabs in the last event of the opening day, but it was worth the wait as Ugandan world record holder Joshua Cheptegei allowed the 21-year-old Barega to escape and win in 27 minutes 48.22 seconds before celebrating with an infield dance on a sultry night. Hot favorite Cheptegei left it way too late to chase him down and only just caught 30-year-old compatriot Jacob Kiplimo on the line to take silver. Fantastic. I guess 20-year-old makes it happen. Cheptegei. Don't forget, he has actually won the Lagos City Marathon before. And then he goes there and he left it too late and the 20-year-old ran away. And at 20, he wins this one. Wow.
You know what? One thing we always say is that there is what we call comparative sport advantage.
Okay.
And competitive sport advantage.
Yeah.
Comparative sport advantage is just to compare the sport. Oh, this one we can do well, we cannot do well in this one. Competitive sport advantage is which one can we compete and then actually win medals. These North Africans, they know their strengths.
Yeah, Eastern Africans.
East Africans, they know their strengths. They know this is the area we'll just go there and make a mark. And so I'm not surprised that they are winning. The only surprise is that Cheptegei allowed a 21-year-old Barega. But if you go and check how Barega has been training for this Olympics, you find out that it didn't just start. And that's why I always feel that. So I posted something on the social media prior to the start of the opening of the Olympics, where they had the 138th Olympic Congress, and Brisbane, Australia was announced as the host of 2032.
Yeah.
Which meant that God is the greatest planner. Human beings will just try, but God is... But I'm saying that these people, they understand what it takes to plan. 2024 is just 3 years from now. Paris.
I'm coming to you for it. Let me just show you for this one. I'm coming to you for another one that you talk about. Don't worry.
Is Paris.
It's a day full of...
2028 is Los Angeles. And 2032
Brisbane, Australia.
Brisbane, Australia. They already know how they are planning. And so you think you're going to plan under 1 year, 7 months, 8 months, and miracle will happen?
Let me come to you on this one.
All right.
Buttressing Seun. Mixed 4x400 meters. Nigeria, men and women. Nigeria take the first lap. Nigeria takes second lap. Nigeria take the third lap. And then they leave the fourth lap for a woman, and everybody else passed and we came last.
Okay, you know, the funny thing I'm going to put out there is this, you know, since...
Very painful.
It is very painful, but like you mentioned something, this is even a personal point of view as a fan. I'm not even going to sound like an analyst for a minute here. Since the era of Deji Aliyu, we've not really had, like, apart from Blessing, who unfortunately is suspended for now, we've not really had proper athletes, both on the male and female end, minus Blessing, of course. Now, he mentioned something about planning ahead. Japan, just yesterday, had gotten the most medal haul in the history of the nation's Olympic run at this Olympics. To tell you that they've been planning, since they knew, okay, we're going to host the Olympics 8 years or 16 years before time, we'll start planning ahead of time. That's what they are. Watch Australia in 2032. God keeping us all alive. You see how they will also have a fantastic Olympic medal haul. China before now are not even a top name when it came to Olympics. It was always between USA and wherever the
Australia. Yeah.
But all of a sudden, China now, since Beijing 08 till now,
it's been USA, Australia, Canada.
They've been keeping it up. So he mentioned something about it. So yeah, it is. If you don't plan, you're planning to fail.
Okay, now the conditions were not to blame in the inaugural mixed 4x400 meters relay, which delivered its expected excitement, even if the only crowd on site to witness it was made up of teammates and officials doing all they could to create some atmosphere. Only one country, Nigeria, opted to change the established man-woman, woman-man running order And for a while, it looked a good move as their third leg man opened a big lead in their hit, only for the entire field of anchor leg men to sweep past the female Nigerian in the final straight. The heavily fancied United States team won their hit comfortably, but were disqualified for exchanging the baton outside the box, as several teams seemed confused by the track markings. That is heartbreaking.
But
That's not heartbreaking.
Let's be clear.
Wow.
That this is not the semi-final. It was heat.
For qualification.
Heat. So
You can let it go.
no, I'm just saying that how bad it when you got semi-final, it happened in heat 1.
Try.
Oh my God. The hits just keep on coming.
Okay. In the men's tennis doubles, Croatia's Nikola Mektic and Mate Pavic beat compatriots Marin Cilic and Ivan Dodic 6-4, 3-6, 10-6 for their country's first ever gold and silver medals in the sport. New Zealand claimed their first Olympic tennis medal as Marcus Daniel and Michael Venus took home the bronze following a 7-6, 3-6, 6-2 win over Americans Tennis Sandgren and Austin Krajicek. After losing in the men's singles, world number 1 Novak Djokovic suffered a further defeat, losing in the mixed doubles semi-final with partner Nina Sajinovic. The Serbian pair fell 7-6, 4-7-5 to the ROC's Elena Vesnina and Aslan Kartovic. Now, Djokovic could still go home with 2 bronze medals on Saturday, with the Serbian set to meet Spain's Pablo Carreto Busta. In the men's singles, an Australian pair, Ashley Barty and Judy Pierce, in the mixed doubles, partnering Stanovic. Congratulations, Croatia. Now, after this, we'll talk about football now, and then we'll have a slight substitution. Mukhail will come in and will be substituted with Victor Godfrey. But of course, before then, Canada reached the women's soccer semi-finals for the 3rd consecutive Olympic Games as goalkeeper Stephanie Lobb scored 2 Brazil penalties in a 4-3 shootout win, while Australia stunned Britain in extra time after Canada captain Christine Sinclair's penalty was saved by Barbara Labber rescued the side with 2 diving saves to keep out Brazil's final 2 spot kicks from Andressia and Rafael. Our Falcons doing so well. You said something now. They are doing so well, they couldn't even qualify for the Olympics. We have so much talent in that team, lack of structure, bad management by Nigerians, and our sport is in shambles today. Now, you said something a few minutes ago. Growing up, America was known for basketball, baseball, rugby, or American football as they call it, you know, and now football was called soccer, or it's called soccer in America. And it was not a sport. If your son is going to play soccer in America, you're like, you're a coward. Go and play American football. Go play baseball. Go play basketball. Why soccer? Something that was a pastime. A rejected sport by parents in America. So look at their girls. Qualifying year in, year out. Even their male teams are giving people a run for their money now.
True that. I just, like I said, was just saying that, you know, it was a pastime. Like you mentioned, the biggest sports in America, even till this day to an extent, is still basketball, the NFL, and of course, baseball. But then in the 80s and 70s, unbeknownst to the America, I don't think they really planned it then. It just turned out that way, whereby at the start of the new decade of the 90s, the American female national team, due to the fact that they were going for what they call soccer practice, and there's a term in America where they say soccer moms and stuff like that, where you take your daughter for soccer practice. That is the reason why the Americans are so dominant. Up until their defeat to Sweden in the opening game of the Olympics, they haven't lost a game in 44 attempts. Like, they've won 44 matches unbeaten. That is insane. They've won the World Cup, Olympics, World Cup, and they might just win the Olympics again.
Just very quickly, the Brazilians that you saw that lost, very sad for the likes of Formiga, Mata, and all
Rafael.
of that. They've won everything. They are the only country that have won every competition from this one to, football, futsal, beach soccer, everything. But the only thing they've not won is this Olympics. And, you know, I felt for the Netherlands team. Very good side. Remember, they were losing finalists at the last World Cup to this same USA. But, you know, there had to be penalties. And sorry for taking you back. That tennis that you showed, Djokovic was going for the Golden Slam, which meant that he's won the Australian Open, he's won French Open, he's won Wimbledon, and wanted to win the Olympics. He will have become the first male tennis player to do so. But surprisingly, he was beaten by Alexander Zverev. He won the first set, but eventually lost the 2. Even the third place game, against Pablo Carrena Busta. He lost that third place game against Pablo Carrena Busta because that one was beaten by Karen Kachanov. So it's going to be Karen Kachanov against Alexander Zverev. If he had been a 5-setter, I think he would have been back in the 4th and 5th set because he has that mental fortitude to go. But because it's 3 sets, that's how that. And for the female, Marketa Vondrousova, the conqueror of
my
girlfriend.
Yes, Naomi Osaka. Yes.
We're playing against Brenda Benson.
Fiji will face near neighbours New Zealand in Saturday's first semi-final with Britain and France to contest the other semi. The gold medal match will be played at 6 local time. Now, pre-tournament favourites Australia were outstanding in winning their opening 2 Pool C matches on Thursday. But a 14-12 loss to the United States put them on collision course with Fiji. Stories inside the first 4 minutes from Aloisi Nakochi and Anna Maria Naninasi put Fiji 14 off. And an unconverted score from Faith Nathan and try by Charlotte Caustic in the final 45 seconds were not enough for the gold medalist from 5 years ago. And the Olympics post-pandemic has been totally eye-opening. We're seeing teams like China doing well in rugby. We're seeing teams like Japan doing well in rugby. We're not rugby teams, really.
See, that's part of the planning process. And I must say, I know it was a highlight reel we just saw, but I'm very, very impressed with the quality of rugby we've seen from the females. That's as good as you see with the men's rugby situation. Seeing teams that are not traditionally known for games like that, like for instance China and Japan, like you just mentioned, tells you if you plan properly. My niece plays rugby, and if we have a very good sports ministry, they can actually invest. That is like you mentioned, by Brisbane 32, if she wants to go into sports, she will be an adult by that time, and she might represent us well.
Okay, we'll take a short break. When we come back, I'll tackle Seun Ajidagba with this one, and why we don't have any rep in the table tennis section anymore in the Olympics, and why we have the usual suspects every time. I don't know, Godfrey, Funke, or Shonaiki. We'll take a break, we'll come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. I said I was going to discuss with... Let me talk to you first, and then we'll go to the story I have. It's been the usual suspect. Haruna Kodri has consistently made noise. Let me fight for the guy today. He has said, I will not play this table tennis forever. You guys, help me out. I have dropped money. I am organizing events to bring in young talent. I won't be here forever. We didn't listen. Now we are seeing it now. We don't have any rep in the table tennis section at the Olympics anymore at this point now. And it's the usual suspect every time. No young person, no new name, nothing.
You can't blame him. The last time at Rio 2016 Olympics, he got to the quarterfinal, beaten by eventual champion Malong, Olympic and world champion. That guy is something else. I did a research about Malong. Malong is a graduate of a university. He was sacrificing
education
and all those things, coupled with training. And this time around, even since Beijing 2008, no female from any other country has ever won the Olympics women's singles. It has always been China. This one again, it was the 4 finalists for men's singles and women's singles were all Chinese. Malong defeated Fa Zhendong 4-2 to retain his title that he won before. That guy is something else. I mean, Malong. And for the female, we also saw 2 Chinese play in the final. Our own Funke Shonaike, 7-time Olympic and getting into that Club 7, got knocked out in the preliminary round. Jido Motayo got knocked out in the preliminary round. Edem Effiong got knocked out in the first round. And Haruna Kodri, by virtue of being ranked 15th, got knocked out in the 3rd round by Gustavo from Brazil. So what are we saying in essence is that we are not ready yet. In Africa, Haruna Kodri might be number 1. His record has even been equal by Omar Sarr.
Yeah, Omar Sarr.
Who got beaten by the same Malong. You understand? So what we are saying in essence is that in Africa, the best team in Africa is the Egyptians. We have Omar Sarr, we have Dina Meshref and all of them. So Dina Meshref that you see that is number 1 in Africa, the mom used to beat Funke Shonaike. Now Dina Meshref beats Funke Shonaike. So my mama beat you, me picking and they beat you.
I beat you too. Well, now Olympic and world champion Ma Long retained its Olympics men's table tennis singles, beating compatriot Van Zendong 4-2. 32-year-old clinched his 4th gold medal in his 3rd Olympic Games by 11-4, 10-12, 11-8, 11-9, 3-11, 11-7. Celebrating with the Mobat pose made famous by British distance runner and multiple Olympic champion Mo Farah. As they have at every Games since 2008, China provided all 4 singles finalists at Tokyo 2020. Chen Meng having beaten Song Ying-hao to take the women's title on Thursday. No other country has ever won women's singles gold. Unstoppable Ma Long. Okay, we know Mukhail Tinubu is the go-to man when it goes to transfer, but I'll start this one with Seun first. Now, England defender Ben White has signed for Arsenal from fellow Premier League club Brighton and Hove Albion for a reported £50 million. 23-year-old has been linked with the Gunners since the opening of the transfer window, but has now finally put pen to paper on a long-term contract. White was called up to Gareth Southgate's Euro 2020 squad after Trent Alexander-Arnold pulled out due to injury. The former Brighton man, however, didn't make an appearance during the tournament. White, who will wear the number 4 shirts for the Gunners, now joins Nuno Tavares and Albert Sandhill Okonga as the latest arrivals at the North London club ahead of the new Premier League season. Now, is Ben White worth £50 million? Really?
Each time we say things like this, they'll tell you the selling club has the right over the player. But it's an English player, and you know how English people will always raise
overhype.
Yeah. But he did well for Brighton and Hove Albion last season. Let's see what it does for Arsenal this season. But for me,
£50 million for Ben White.
Well, I mean, he was one of the pillars of Brighton's season last season. So he's the kind of player that you bring to a club like Arsenal, Tottenham, Aston Villa, and you can elevate the defense line. He might not be worth 50 million to the likes of Man City, but if Man City had gone for him and Brighton had asked for 50 million, they would have been well within their rights to dictate that kind of level of value for a player like Ben White.
Now, Aston Villa have yet to respond. Villa do not want to sell and have offered Grealish a new improved contract to try to persuade him that his future lies at Villa Park. Villa do not want to sell Grealish and still have offered him a new and improved contract to try to persuade him that his future should lie here. Now, despite having 4 years left on his existing deal, which was only signed in September. Jack Grealish, Mukhail.
There's some level of interest on Jack Grealish's part. But
from Man U, from Man City, from Chelsea, from everybody.
But he definitely would appreciate the opportunity to go play at Man City, to go play under Pep Guardiola. What I'm hearing, though, is that there's less likelihood he's going to put the kind of significant pressure that it would take to force Villa's hand to sell him. However, if Man City do offer that £100 million, which they've been rumoured for weeks now, Aston Villa might be forced to consider it. The economy is still bad in the Premier League, and many clubs are looking to accrue money for the next season.
I have little time on the show right now, but I want to ask you this one. Now, Marcus Rashford will miss the start of the Premier League season after Manchester United confirmed that he needs an operation on his injured shoulder. Now, the striker was able to play a part in England's run to the Euro 2020 final despite struggling with injury throughout last season. He will now have surgery and could be out for as long as 3 months following consultation between Marcus, the manager, club medical staff and specialists. Marcus will undergo surgery imminently to resolve his shoulder injury. As I said in a statement, he will now focus on his rehabilitation in order to return as soon as possible. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side will be looking to improve on last season's second-place league finish and start the season on 14th August against Leeds United. Of course, they play at Old Trafford now. Marcus Rashford missing for a while. Who do we think Solskjaer will actually rely upon on that side? Mason Greenwood or Amad Diallo?
You will definitely rely with Mason Greenwood.
What's wrong with Amad Diallo?
Yeah. I saw Amad Diallo even prior to coming to the studio when they were playing against Spain in the...
Match is going on now. I think it's still 2-2, yeah?
They should have concluded that game, but it was exciting. And, you know, he's a guy that was brought from Atlanta with so much money. So they will still trust Mr. Gru because of his potency. But for Marcus Rashford, let him go for recovery. And again, in his recovery process, young man, that number 10 that you are putting on was won by a legend. He plays some football sometimes that I feel like I should give him a slap. For the amount of money that I pay you and the jersey you are done, I think he should go for recovery. But I think there are options. Definitely, he wants to go with the Jadon Sancho. If they sell Marshall, or if they don't sell Marshall, there are still options that can replace Marcus Rashford in the absence that he goes for the surgery. Because they were contemplating before, but finally they resolved that he should go and he's going to be missing for 3 months.
What's up with Chelsea? Any new buys? Any new plans?
Jules Koundé from Sevilla is on the purchase list right now. They're talking about a part exchange deal for Kurt Zouma. But there's rumors that Zouma might scoop out the entire deal because he would rather stay in England. And West Ham have been in line to make a £20 million bid, even though Chelsea value him at 25. We'll see how that story develops. Sevilla want the full 80 million euros for Koundé, but...
And I think it's, before we go on the show today, I think it's foolhardy for Jesse Lingard, after doing so well, playing first team football, doing so well with West Ham, scoring goals like he was good out of fashion, and then he still wants to remain in Man U on the bench.
What I don't understand about the whole story is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had Bruno Fernandes occupy that number 10 position, undisputedly. He has Van der Beek on the bench, who can also play in that position, but he has not even given him a sniff in that position. Yet, Lingard, who is 28, 29, who has very little time left on his playing days, is willing to warm the bench.
Bruno is Portuguese, Lingard is English. You want to answer, maybe?
No, the honest truth is, for all the things that the young, I call him a young man, Jesse Lingard did for West Ham, I think it behoves on a coach like David Moyes to say,
I want this guy.
I want this
guy.
guy.
I'll pay for it.
But he does want him.
They need to pay the amount.
They should pay the amount.
Yeah, but
he has done well for them. They should not. The amount.
They shouldn't price.
Yeah, they
just
pay.
pay.
But remember, at the beginning of last season, when he went on loan, the expectation was that this was going to be his way out. Even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had made it clear that he was ready to let him go. Now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is talking about giving him a new contract.
I don't know. Okay. Victor Godfrey was on earlier, was substituted by Mukhail Tinubu. Thank you very much, Victor. Thank you very much, Mukhail Tinubu. Thank you very much, Seun Ajidagba. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. That's all we can take on the show today. This program was packaged and produced, put together by Toby Olushola. Thank you very much, Oga. My name is Wally Scott. Join us same time, same station next week. Plus Sports special on Plus TV Africa. Like I always advise you, at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.